Welcome back to our channel Historic Coin Treasures, where we uncover hidden coin rare discoveries and the real stories behind historic currency. If you love history, treasure, and the possibility of life-changing finds, subscribe now and let's discover the next hidden fortune together. Top 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins among collectors, the 1964 Lincoln 1 cent. This is not just an ordinary penny. For some collectors this coin is a hidden gem, and for others it is a mystery waiting to be discovered. The 1964 Lincoln penny was produced in massive numbers by the United States Mint. At first glance it seems very common and easy to find. Millions upon millions were struck and circulated across the country. Because of this, most people believe it has no real value beyond 1 cent. But this is where the story gets interesting, because not all 1964 pennies are the same. This coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front. His image has been on the penny since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. On the reverse side you will find the Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat ears design. Now here is where collectors start paying close attention. The value of a 1964 Lincoln penny depends heavily on its condition, rarity, and especially errors. A regular circulated coin that has been used in daily transactions for years will usually not be worth much. But when you find one in uncirculated condition with a bright red surface, things start to change dramatically. Collectors use specific terms to describe conditions such as red, brown, or full red. A full red 1964 penny that has been preserved perfectly without wear can be significantly more valuable than a worn coin. These coins shine with a bright copper color and look almost as if they were just minted yesterday. But the real excitement begins when we talk about rare errors. Error coins are what turn ordinary pennies into valuable collectibles. In 1964, there were several types of minting errors that can be found, and these are what collectors are constantly searching for. One of the most famous errors is the double die. This happens when the coin is struck with a misaligned die, creating a doubling effect on the letters or numbers. If you look closely at the date or the word Liberty and notice a clear doubling, this could be a sign of a valuable coin. Another important error is off-center striking. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design missing. The more off-center the strike is while still showing the full date, the more valuable the coin can become. There are also coins with die cracks and die breaks. These appear as raised lines or unusual marks on the coin surface caused by damaged dies. While small cracks are common, larger and more dramatic breaks can make a coin highly collectible. Some 1964 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet. This is a rare and exciting error where a coin is struck on a blank meant for a different denomination. These coins are extremely rare and can attract serious attention from collectors. Another factor that increases value is the mint mark. While many 1964 pennies were struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark, others were produced in Denver and carry a small D mark below the date. In certain conditions and with specific errors, these can be more desirable. Collectors also pay attention to strike quality and luster. A coin with sharp details, especially in Lincoln's hair and the steps of the memorial building, is considered higher quality. Strong luster gives the coin a glowing effect when tilted under light, and this is something collectors love. Let us take a moment to imagine the journey of one of these coins. It could have been minted in 1964, passed through countless hands, used in everyday purchases, and then forgotten in a jar or drawer. Years later someone discovers it, and upon closer inspection realizes it might be something special. This is the thrill of coin collecting, the possibility that treasure is hiding in plain sight. Searching for rare coins like the 1964 Lincoln penny requires patience and attention to detail. Many collectors spend hours examining coins under magnification, looking for tiny differences that could mean everything. It is not just about luck but also knowledge and experience. If you are starting your own collection, this coin is a great place to begin. It is widely available, making it easy to find, but it also offers the excitement of discovering rare variations. Always check your coins carefully, especially those that appear to be in better condition or have unusual markings. Another tip for collectors is proper storage. Keeping coins in protective holders helps preserve their condition and prevents damage. Avoid touching the surface with bare hands, as oils can affect the coin over time. The market for rare coins is always changing, and values can fluctuate depending on demand and rarity. Auctions often reveal surprising prices when rare error coins appear. Collectors from around the world compete to own these unique pieces of history. The 1964 Lincoln penny represents more than just money. It is a piece of history, a symbol of American heritage, and a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold great value. For collectors, it is a challenge and an adventure rolled into one. Now let us talk about the value, which is what everyone is curious about. A regular circulated 1964 Lincoln penny is typically worth 1 cent to a few cents depending on condition. A high-grade uncirculated red coin can reach a value of around $20 to $50 depending on quality. Coins with strong luster and near-perfect surfaces may sell for even higher in collector markets. Error coins, however, are where the real money is. A double-die 1964 penny can be worth from $100 to several $100s depending on the clarity of the error. Off-center strikes can range from $50 to a few $100s based on how dramatic the misalignment is. Rare planchet errors or major die breaks can reach values from several $100s to over $1,000 in auctions depending on rarity and demand. Top 2. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising and overlooked coins in American history. The 1985 Lincoln 1 cent. At first glance, it looks like just another penny, something you might ignore or toss aside. But what if I told you that some of these coins are worth far more than their face value, even reaching impressive prices in the collector market? Stay with me, because what you are about to learn might change the way you look at every single coin in your pocket. The 1985 Lincoln penny is part of a long-running series that began in 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln. By 1985, these coins were being produced in massive numbers at multiple mints, including Philadelphia and Denver. Millions upon millions were released into circulation, making them extremely common at first glance. But as every serious coin collector knows, rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes it is about the hidden details, the mistakes, and the tiny variations that most people never notice. Now imagine holding a coin that looks completely normal, but under closer inspection it reveals something unusual. That is where the real value begins. Point 1 of the most important factors that make certain 1985 pennies valuable is mint errors. These errors occur during the production process, and they can transform a simple coin into a rare collectible. Among the most sought-after errors are double die varieties. This happens when the coin design is accidentally stamped more than once in slightly different positions, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or numbers. If you find a 1985 penny with clear doubling, especially on the date or the word Liberty, you could be holding something special. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that look visibly imperfect, because those imperfections are what make them unique. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet. This means the penny was accidentally minted on a blank intended for a different denomination. These types of errors are extremely rare and highly desirable. If you ever come across a 1985 penny that feels different in weight or looks unusual in color, do not ignore it. Condition plays a massive role as well. A 1985 penny in average circulated condition might only be worth its face value. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, with a bright red color and no visible wear, its value increases significantly. Collectors refer to this as red condition, and it is highly prized because copper coins tend to darken over time. Now let's talk about grading. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on their condition, assigning them a score on a scale. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1985 penny graded at the very top levels, with perfect surfaces and sharp details, can command impressive prices in auctions. But here is something even more exciting. Some 1985 pennies feature subtle varieties that are not immediately obvious. These can include differences in the shape of the numbers in the date, or slight variations in the lettering. These small details might seem insignificant, but to collectors, they can make all the difference. Imagine searching through a jar of old coins and suddenly spotting something unusual. Your heart starts racing as you realize you might have found a rare variety. That is the thrill of coin collecting, the possibility that treasure is hiding in plain sight. Another factor that adds to the value of 1985 pennies is demand. Coin collectors around the world are always searching for unique pieces to add to their collections. When a coin combines rarity, condition, and an interesting error, its demand increases dramatically. And when demand goes up, so does the price. Let's not forget about the historical aspect. Even though 1985 is not considered an ancient year, it still represents a specific moment in time. Coins are like tiny time capsules, carrying history in your hands. For some collectors, that alone adds to their appeal. Now, if you are wondering how to check your own coins, start by examining them carefully under good lighting. Look for any unusual features, such as doubling, misalignment, or strange textures. Use a magnifying glass if possible, because many important details are too small to see with the naked eye. It is also important to handle coins properly. Always hold them by the edges and avoid touching the surface, as oils from your fingers can damage them. If you believe you have found a valuable coin, consider having it evaluated by a professional. The beauty of the 1985 Lincoln penny is that it reminds us something simple can hold unexpected value. It teaches us to pay attention, to look closer, and to never underestimate what we already have. And now, the moment you have been waiting for. In real market conditions, a regular circulated 1985 Lincoln 1 cent is usually worth 1 cent to a few cents. A high-quality uncirculated example can be worth a few dollars depending on its condition. However, coins with strong errors or exceptional grading have been known to reach values of hundreds of dollars. In rare auction cases, exceptional error coins or top-grade specimens can reach into the range of several hundred to over $1,000. Top 3. Today we are diving into a fascinating hidden treasure that might already be sitting quietly in your pocket or coin jar. The mysterious and surprisingly valuable 1991 Lincoln 1 cent from the United States Mint. Now at first glance, this coin looks completely ordinary. It carries the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, a design millions of people see every day. But what if I told you that some of these 1991 pennies are worth far more than just 1 cent? And in rare cases, collectors are willing to pay astonishing prices for the right one, so don't skip this video. Stay with me till the end because you might discover that a simple coin you already own could turn into real money. Let's begin the journey. The 1991 Lincoln cent belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which was produced from 1959 to 2008. These coins are made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, giving them that classic reddish appearance. Billions of these coins were minted, which is why most people assume they are common and worthless. But here is where things get interesting. Even in a year with massive production, rare varieties, mint errors, and condition differences can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. First, let's talk about mint marks. The 1991 penny was produced in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins usually have no mint mark. Denver coins have a small D mint mark. San Francisco coins were struck mainly as proof coins with an S mint mark. Now here is something very important: collectors look for condition. Most 1991 pennies you find in circulation are worn, scratched, and faded. These are usually only worth face value. But coins in uncirculated condition, meaning they look almost brand new with strong shine and no visible wear, can be worth significantly more. Collectors use grading systems to determine the condition, and the higher the grade, the higher the value. But condition alone is not the most exciting part. The real treasure lies in errors. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process, and these mistakes can dramatically increase a coin's value. One of the most famous and sought-after errors in the 1991 Lincoln penny is the close AM variety on the reverse side of the coin. Look at the letters A and M in the word America. In most 1991 pennies, there is a noticeable gap between the A and the M. But in the rare close AM variety, these letters are almost touching. This small detail can make a massive difference in value. Why does this happen? Because the close AM design was intended for proof coins, not regular circulation coins. But somehow, a few of these proof designs were accidentally used in regular coin production, and that mistake created one of the most valuable varieties for this year. Now imagine this: you are checking your coins at home, and suddenly you find a 1991 penny where the A and M are nearly touching. That tiny detail could turn your 1 cent coin into something worth hundreds or even more. Another type of error to watch for is doubling. This happens when the coin design is stamped more than once, slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect on the letters or numbers. Look closely at the date 1991 or the word Liberty. If you notice a shadow-like doubling, you might be holding a valuable double die coin. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned, leaving part of the coin blank. These can be visually striking and highly collectible. And then there are broad strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual minting mistakes that collectors love. Each error tells a story of something going wrong at the mint, And that uniqueness is what drives collectors to pay higher prices. Now let's talk about proof coins from San Francisco. Proof coins are specially made for collectors using polished dies and planchets. They have a mirror-like finish and very sharp details. While most proof coins are preserved carefully, if you find a proof coin with an error or in perfect condition, its value can increase significantly. But here is something many people overlook. Even without errors, a 1991 penny in perfect mint state condition can be valuable. Coins graded at the very top levels, with full red color and flawless surfaces, are rare because most coins get damaged during circulation. So if you ever come across a shiny, bright red penny from 1990, one that looks untouched, don't ignore it. Now let's bring everything together. You have three main factors that determine the value of your 1991 Lincoln penny: mint mark, condition, errors, or varieties. If your coin has a rare error like the close AM, or doubling, or an unusual strike, its value increases dramatically. If your coin is in exceptional condition, it also becomes more desirable, and if it has both rarity and condition, then you might be holding something truly special. This is why coin collecting is so exciting. It turns everyday objects into hidden treasures. It makes you look closer at the small details others ignore, and it gives you the chance to discover something valuable where no one else is looking. So next time you get change from a shop or open your coin jar, don't rush. Take a moment, look carefully at your coins, because that ordinary penny might not be so ordinary after all. Now, as promised, let's talk about the value. Most circulated 1991 Lincoln pennies are worth just 1 cent. Uncirculated coins can be worth a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition, but rare varieties like the close AM or high-grade error coins have been sold for hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional cases, even more at auction depending on rarity and demand. And that is the incredible story of the 1991 Lincoln 1 cent. Top 4. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating hidden treasures in modern coin collecting: the rare and valuable 1996 Lincoln 1 cent. This is not just any coin. This is a piece of history connected to one of the most iconic figures ever featured on U.S. currency, Abraham Lincoln. And behind its simple design lies a world of secrets, minting errors, and hidden value that many people overlook every single day. Now imagine this: you are going through your loose change, maybe coins sitting in a jar, a drawer, or even your wallet, and among them could be a 1996 penny that collectors are searching for right now. Let's uncover why this coin is special. The 1996 Lincoln penny was produced in massive numbers by the United States Mint. First glance, nothing about it seems rare. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Millions upon millions were made, and most are still circulating today. But here's where things get interesting: not all 1996 pennies are the same. Some of them were struck with rare minting errors, others have unique characteristics, and a very small number have become highly desirable among collectors. And these are the coins that can turn a simple 1 cent into something truly valuable. Let's talk about the most exciting part. Errors. Minting errors are what make modern coins like the 1996 penny stand out. These are mistakes that happen during the production process at the mint. While most coins are made perfectly, a few slip through with flaws, and those flaws can make them incredibly valuable. One of the most famous types of errors you should look for is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck in a way that creates a slight doubling effect on the letters or numbers. On a 1996 penny, you might notice doubling on the word liberty, the date, or even the phrase "I in God we trust" to the untrained eye. It might look like a small blur, but to a collector, that blur could mean everything. Another rare and exciting error is the off-center strike. Imagine a coin that wasn't properly aligned when it was struck. Part of the design is missing, shifted, or incomplete. These coins look unusual, almost like they were made incorrectly, because they were, and that's exactly why collectors love them. Then there are broad strike errors, where the coin appears slightly larger or flatter than normal because it wasn't struck within the proper color. And don't forget about die cracks and cut errors, where parts of the coin show raised lines or blobs due to damage in the minting dies. Each of these errors tells a story of how something went slightly wrong and created something incredibly special. But errors are not the only thing that matters. Condition is everything. A 1996 penny that looks shiny, clean, and untouched can be worth significantly more than one that is scratched, worn, or damaged. Collectors use grading systems to determine condition. Coins that are in mint state, meaning they look almost brand new, are the ones that attract the most attention. So if you find a 1996 penny, don't just look at the date, look closely at its condition, look at the shine, look at the details in Lincoln's face, look at the sharpness of the lettering, because those details can make a huge difference. Now here's something that might surprise you: even though billions of 1996 pennies were made, Only a tiny fraction of them have the combination of rarity, error, and condition that makes them valuable. That means most people have no idea what they're holding. And that's where the opportunity lies. Coin collectors are always searching. They go through rolls of pennies, bank coins, collections, and old jars hoping to find that one special piece, and you could be one of the lucky ones. So how do you check your coin? Start simple. Take a 1996 penny and place it under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if possible. Look for anything unusual, doubling in the letters, misalignment in the design, strange shapes or marks that don't belong, and most importantly, trust your eyes. If something looks different, it might be worth investigating further. You can even compare your coin with normal examples online to spot differences. Now imagine this moment. You find a coin that looks different, you research it. You realize it might be rare, and suddenly, that 1 cent becomes something much more exciting. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt, hidden in plain sight. In the 1996 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how modern coins can still hold secrets. So before you ignore your spare change, before you spend that penny without a second thought, take a closer look, because you never know what you might find. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's talk about value. A regular 1996 Lincoln 1 cent in circulated condition is typically worth only 1 cent. In uncirculated condition, it can be worth a few cents to a few dollars depending on quality, but rare error coins from 1996 can reach much higher values. Some double die or major error examples have sold for tens to hundreds of dollars depending on their visibility and condition, and in exceptional cases, high-grade error coins have reached values in the range of several $100s at auction. So that simple penny in your hand could be worth far more than you ever imagined. And that's what makes this coin so exciting. It's not just about money, it's about discovery, it's about history, it's about the thrill of finding something rare in the most unexpected place. So next time you see a 1996 Lincoln penny, don't ignore it, examine it, study it, because it might just be your hidden treasure. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, make sure you stay tuned, because there are many more secrets waiting to be uncovered in the coins you use every single day.